Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending September 29th. Let's talk for a second about insights. From our work in the field, we just had a really interesting situation this past week. We've been working with the buyer client for a little while, and there's been opportunities for us to put in offers on properties, but it seems that we're always competing, and we've never had the winning bid. But this house came up for sale, and the list price seemed to be a little bit on the high side. Further complicating the whole situation, there was an offer date, which implies that the sellers are expecting over asking price. Now, before we rush out and look at any properties, as a service with our buyer clients, we will analyze the listing price and try to predict to our buyers what we feel that home should sell for in that neighborhood. Well, this, as I said, was actually priced where we thought it should probably sell for. So the fact that they have an offer night and they're thinking of getting more was a bit rich, was a little bit ambitious, I thought. So we went to go see the house, and sure enough, my clients loved it. So we prepared the offer, and I'd spoken with the listing agent to find out what's the seller's preferred closing date and some other features. And we put the offer. It had a lot of details that the seller wanted, except for the purchase price. We put it just below the list price. Now keep in mind, the sellers want more. We did not participate on offer night. Offer night came and went, and sure enough, it didn't sell. The next morning, we put in our offer right away with a very short irrevocable, meaning that offer was going to expire in just a few hours. And through a few quick negotiations, we managed to buy that house below asking price. Now think about this. Just the night before, the sellers were expecting to get over asking. We ended up buying it the next morning just below asking price. There are opportunities there. Strategy matters. Needless to say, our buyer client is thrilled. They got the house of their dreams, and that to us is all that mattered. Now, sometimes sellers are too ambitious. Sometimes listing agents are too ambitious with their price. Sometimes listing agents will give a selling price to the seller that's high just to win over the listing, which is a terrible strategy. But it's up to us when we're working with buyers to kind of know when those situations are there and see if we can take advantage of that. Here's another example. I have a listing here in Willowdale. This is a sold property, sold for almost $400,000 below asking price. So there are opportunities to buy out there. Now, as far as our business goes, I'm just going to throw this out there. We have sold most of our listings down to the last couple of listings right now. So if you're thinking of selling or buying, give us a call. Find out about our services. There's still plenty of time to sell or buy before the end of the year. To reach out to us to talk anything at all about real estate, in the description below there's a link to my calendar. Just book a time that's convenient for you. I'll know ahead of time, this way when we want to chat, I'll make sure I'm available and we can talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers. Okay, let's dive right into the numbers. Here we have for the City of Toronto for week ending September 29th. There's some really interesting things going on here. So if we look at sales are up, which is very exciting. 263 detached properties were sold in the City of Toronto for week ending September 29th. 73 of those 263 were sold at $2 million or more. That's a high percentage. That's just under 30% of all homes sold were at $2 million or more. That's a crazy number, I know. Look at the average sold price, $1,818,000 for the average detached home sold price for the City of Toronto. Now, $1,118,000, if I look at this chart here, and it goes back all the way to February for this year, that's the third highest. It's 2,000 less than 1,820,000 here, and the record for this year so far is 1,832,000. We're just shy of that prices high. Ever since September, Labor Day rolled in, average sold price has been climbing. It's amazing how high the average sold price is actually getting. We're 25% higher than last year's average sold price. Sales are exactly what they were last year at this time, and 74% sold at list price or more. And if you recall my story from the very beginning, there's still opportunities to buy below asking price. There's few. So if 74% sold at list price or more, that leaves 26%. Some of those will come off the market, and some of those sellers will readjust their price and sell below asking price. So there's a percentage in there, in that 26% that are going to be sold below asking. You and your realtor really should be taking advantage of those. When it comes to listings, I wish I can give you better news. I wish listings could be higher, but they're not. We listed 379 for the last 3 weeks. It's just gone down slightly each week. And that takes the months of inventory down to 0.8 with an average days on market of 12. Very competitive. Prices are going up. Sales are going up. Listings coming down. It's a very tight market for the detached market. If we split Toronto into 3 sections, west, central, and east, you have the central in blue up here. The orange is the east, and the red here, or the burgundy color, depends on how you see it on your screen, is the west. Taking a closer look at those, we have the west here sitting at 0.7 months of inventory. We sold 93 detached properties in the west part of Toronto. It's up from the previous week of 75. 74% of those are being sold at list price or more. Looking at central, now central, the prices are a little bit more volatile just because the lion's share of the luxury properties are in the central. However, months of inventory is sitting at 1.4. We sold 79 detached properties, which is up from the previous week of 63. 58% sold at list price or more. And if we look at the east side, oh, you can't see this here, but the months of inventory is 0.5. The east is the most competitive area of Toronto right now. We sold 92, which is up from the previous week of 81. Days on market, average days on market is only 8, and 86% sold at list price or more. 86% feels like all of them. And we're sitting at 22% above last year's average sold price. And average sold price keeps going up. We're just under 1.4 million in the east part of Toronto, which is basically East York and Scarborough. Taking a closer look at semis, you could see here average sold price was coming down, but lately the last few weeks average sold price seems to be going up with the semis. The average sold price for last week finished at $1,354,000. We sold 94. 29 of those sold at $1.5 million or more. The semis is sitting at months of inventory is 0.5, and we're 11% higher than last year's average sold price. And 81% of those properties of the semis are selling at list price or more. Looking at townhouses, now for a good part of the year, average sold price for townhouse has been coming down. It kind of peaked in May, and we were close to 1.4 million here in June, but since then, average sold price has been coming down. But last week, we sold only 23, but some of those were really, really high value, which take the average sold price way up. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks there. As a quick summary here, again, we sold only 23, days on market is 17, 65% are selling at list price or more, and we're 22% higher than last year's average sold price for townhouses. And months of inventory climbed up a bit to 1.2. Let's take a real deep dive into condos here. We sold 390 condos last week, and it's very similar to what we did the previous week. The amount of condos selling at $1 million or more is up to 48. Now 48 is the highest that we have as far as a week goes on this chart here, and we've got to go back a couple of years really to find a week where we've sold more than 48 in 1 week at $1 million or more. So condos is really picking up some steam here. Now, average sold price came down, what, $2,000 maybe here, or less than $2,000. So it's still sitting pretty high at $764,000 is the average sold price for a condo. And condo prices have been going up now for several weeks. But if you look at the overall year, we've been sitting at over $700,000 for most of the year. Prices are really strong there. We're sitting at 13% higher than last year's average sold price. The 390 of those sold, half of those are selling at list price or more. So there's lots of room to negotiate on a lot of those condos. Listings has been coming down. We wish they were coming up, but they went up a little bit at the beginning of September, but now they're coming down. We listed only 736 condos. I say only because last year at this time, we were listing over 1,000 condos a week. Months of inventory is now sitting at 1.4 with 17 the average days on market. The overall months of inventory for the different home types is still low. Very much a seller's market. There are some opportunities. Strategy is so important. You should be working with a good agent if you're looking to buy or sell in this market. And there's still plenty of time to sell or buy before the end of the year. Have a great day. Let me introduce you to 4027 Bloor Street West, located just east of the East Mall. This is a 3-bedroom bungalow with a large private driveway. Sits on a 43 by 120 lot. Now you can take the bungalow as is, updated to your liking, but it comes complete with building plans for a large 2-family home over 4,000 square feet. So let me show you how we're going to go from the current small 3-bedroom bungalow that's on the property now to this large, over 4,000 square foot modern 2-family home. City plans and permits are already in place. Here's the floor plan. Now this is a unique setup. 2 families can live under one roof here and both have luxurious living quarters. Here's the primary suite over here. Now it's divided between primary and secondary. Now to enter the primary suite, you either come in through the garage that has its own entrance where your own private space in the garage, or through the covered porch right at the front. You come in and it's all open concept. The primary residence is about 2,400 square feet. You've got your open concept main floor and a walkout to a private back deck. Up to the second floor where you have 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 4 skylights, and its own laundry facilities. Coming back to the secondary suite. Now the secondary suite is about 1,650 square feet. There are 2 entrances to the secondary suite. One is through the garage where you have your own private parking, or through the side entrance here, and you come up and it's also open concept on the main floor with the kitchen, the living room, and a walkout to a private deck. Now the living quarters for this, you've got to go down just a few steps to the basement. You've got 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and a family room, and it walks up. There's stairs also walking up a little bit to the backyard. Now, I don't want to confuse the secondary suite, say for a basement rental that everybody's kind of used to. The secondary suite is a full living quarters for another family. The basement has a ceiling height of 10 feet. 5 feet of it is above grade. Big windows. The point is it doesn't feel like a basement. And this is easily for 2 families to live comfortably, luxurious, or use it as rental income or for co-ownership.